Happy Sunday, everyone. Hey, it's Michelle Stelling with the National Association of Digital Scrapbookers, and I'm in here to let you know that this little segment is a pretty important segment. It's called backing up and syncing your files. So if you don't have a backup system, this is a must-watch video. It is found inside of the members area, members only area, and if you go down to 2020 members only classes right here, you will be able to find it. It is a few down and it's called Backup and Sync. And if you can't find it, just go ahead and use your search ability and type in backup and you will be able to find it that way. It was done by Wendy and you can watch the full hour inside of that members only area. So enjoy this little snippet and enjoy your Sunday. Bye for now. And those of you just came in, there is a handout, but you don't have to download it right now. It's inside the handout section of this webinar, and it's also going to be inside of the members area as well. So do you all see Miss Wendy's screen? It should say backup and sync. Give me a few yeses.
You're talking about backup and sync, and it's going to be a little bit of a different class than normal because we're not going to spend a lot of time in Photoshop Elements. A lot of it is just going to be some notes that we have up here on my screen. So I hope I can make it interesting enough for you because I don't have a lot of visuals. I tried to come up with things to make this a little bit more visually exciting, and I just drew a blank. So we're just going to go with the kind of the nuts and bolts and hopefully be able to answer some of your questions at the end too if we have time. So here's a little table of contents, what we're going to be talking about. We're going to talk about backup and sync, what we want to back up, what we want to sync, and some different options for doing that. So backup and sync are two really fundamentally different ways of duplicating and managing your files. Sometimes you hear the words used interchangeably, but they are two totally different things. So let's talk a little bit about how they are different. With sync, you are copying or deleting files to ensure that you have multiple locations with the same exact set of files. You can set that up manually, automatically, or you can do it manually. That doesn't really matter. But if you delete a file on one device, it's automatically deleted on all the devices that are syncing with that. So it's not a backup because anything you do to one set of the files is going to be repeated on all the other set of files. So you are going to use sync when you want to make sure you have the same files everywhere. If you have automatic sync options, then it happens in real time, meaning if you delete something now or you put a new file in now, that is reflected immediately on any other devices that are connected to the internet. So that is sync. Backup, on the other hand, is also copying files from one location to another, but those files are not usually replaced. You can have multiple versions of saved in a backup location. Backups are used to restore your files when your original copies are lost, damaged, or overwritten. So backup really is your insurance plan for not losing your files. Backups generally occur at a moment in time, whether you do that scheduled or manually. So whereas sync is kind of happening all the time as you're creating and deleting and moving files, backups are going to be set up or scheduled to run like every hour, every day, every week, every month, however you set that up. And then at that moment in time, you are making a copy of your files and storing them somewhere else so that if something disastrous happens in one place, you have all those files in another place. So can you, Michelle, are there any questions about backup versus sync in that definition?
Okay. So Shelley just put one in there. She said, how many backups should you have?
Yeah, we're going to get to that one on another slide, so I'll tackle that in a minute.
And that's it.
Okay, so let's move on. So let's talk about with sync, what kind of things do you want to sync? When do you want to sync versus when do you want to back up? One of the things you might want to sync are photos. For example, if you want to access your photos to scrapbook them on your laptop and on your desktop, then you would want something synced so that you can access the same photos in both places. The same with your digi-supplies and your layouts. If you want to be able to access them from multiple devices, then sync is what you want to use, because with sync as well, say I open up a Photoshop file on my laptop and I save it, and then later on I want to work on that same layout on my desktop, it's going to be the newest updated version of that file when I go open it up over there. Whereas backup would be taking a moment in time and copying that file over. But if I only back up once a week and I've made changes to something, I'm not having the most recent version in that other location. Another thing that syncing works great with is shared documents. So if we want to share files with another person, a lot of people are having to do this right now with work, school, that kind of stuff. Or if you want to, say, share photos of your vacation with a relative, you could have like a shared synced folder where both of you put files in, they automatically show up for the other person. So those are some ideas of what kinds of things that you might want to sync.